let's talk about the legal of all of this. So we turn to a lawyer. Bob Bianchi is here, the criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, guy who knows things. Legally, where are we?
Shep, this is just a whole mishmash of things. It's a big problem. The two most important people in your organization are your attorney and your accountant. They know where all the bodies are buried, and the federal government is in on each of them. They've got Cohen out on an island all by himself, and eventually they're going to get to him once they speak to the accountant, in my opinion. And this investigation isn't from the Southern District, isn't just about President Trump. It's also about other people who may have conspired to have done financial crimes as well, bank fraud, campaign finance fraud. So the idea that there's a bright line, maybe with respect to Mueller's investigation, but not the Southern District's investigation. And last point, Shep, if they try to interfere with that in any way, expect another obstruction investigation to open up.
Are we largely here talking, in a word, are we largely here talking about campaign finance laws?
I think we're talking about campaign finance law, wire fraud, as well as bank fraud and obstruction charges.
How could something like that end? If, you know, I figure everybody, whether you're all about this president or concerned about this president or something else, there's some degree of curiosity about how this might end. You know, if any of these things are true, then what? I don't want to speculate about whether they are or not. I wanted to talk about the legality of it all. And if you've done A, B, and C, then what happens?
It depends on whether you're talking about the Mueller investigation.
Well, you talked about wire fraud and bank fraud.
Right. Well, what happens is they're going to bring people in and they're going to give them a proffer session. They're going to show them what it is that they have. They're going to ask whether they want to cooperate. And, of course, you can only cooperate if you can move up the chain of command. And there are multiple people in my mind. We spoke about this before, Shep. You have Jared Kushner here. You have the Trump children that are here. And you have the associates as well as the president of himself.
Well, right now what we have is Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen has given every indication that he's here to fight now. He says he's not going to tell the truth now. But the release of this tape, did that make him, as I've seen discussed so often, a less perfect witness, or even disqualify him as a witness? Or how do you see this revelation?
It tells me two things. One, he is not on Team USA right now, and they're not really even in basic negotiations because...
What does that mean?
Well, what it means is he hasn't spoken to the feds, and the feds haven't really spoken to the attorney, because they would never, under any circumstance, and Michael Cohen being a lawyer would know this, go out publicly if they were cooperating or intending on cooperating. So why this was done, I don't know, because I don't think it made anybody...
Well, if you hire Lanny Davis, you hire Lanny Davis because you want to have somebody out there fighting for you on television, kind of like the president hired Rudy Giuliani. If he hired him, whatever, he's his lawyer, he says. So you don't hire Lanny Davis to do quiet negotiating behind the scenes. Lanny Davis is a TV guy.
I think, honestly, Shep, it just came down to this, because I've thought about this over and over again in my mind. He's not cooperating with the federal government, so he doesn't have that area to go.
We don't even know if the federal government has asked for his cooperation. Who knows if they even have something that they might want?
Or they exactly whether they want it.
Or anything further. They have 1 million+ documents and 100 recordings, if you believe WAPO, and I do.
Right, and the Trump administration has abandoned him, so he's in, with the Latin term, filius nullius, the child of no one. And I think he's trying to get out there and at least publicly put a face on that doesn't make him look like a monster. I think it's as simple as that.
A lot to do. Thank you.
You gotcha.
Bob Bianchi.